talked a lot about how to actually get the role when you're interviewing. So going through the actual interview process, how to follow up, how to prepare even, and the types of questions you're gonna wanna ask throughout the interview to really increase and augment your opportunity of getting the opportunity or the job offer. So, this is really important stuff for you guys who are out there attacking the job market. Even now with the layoffs, job losses, you gotta come back, you gotta figure this out. It's really important information that I'm getting into your hands. It's all free content. This is from my experiences over the years in recruiting, being a professional salesperson myself over the years, having jumped through so many hoops. And I just really want to give you guys some of those nuggets. And today we got to talk about the actual format of the resume itself. Because before you can even sit down and wow the hiring manager or impress them and make an impression whatsoever, the very first impression you're going to be making is what's on that piece of paper. Because that's all you are to them until they actually meet with you, is a piece of paper. So what's that piece of paper got to look like? How are you going to stand out in the sea of sameness in an employer's marketplace post-pandemic? 50% reductions in workspaces is what we're talking about. We're living in some kind of parallel universe now where, we're not going to be able to be near each other. We're going to have to practice social distancing in the workplace. So, what does that mean? Companies are going to be operating way leaner than they were before. And the traffic that comes into those businesses, if they are traffic dependent, means that they're gonna have to limit the amount of people who can come in and make daily transactions. That's gonna translate into what? You think they're gonna have the same fiscal quarter this year than they did in 2019? Chances are absolutely not. So what does that mean? That means companies are gonna have to get lean and mean. And by getting lean and mean, that's a reduction in workforce, which means some of you are unfortunately out on your butt looking for opportunities, which is why I'm glad you came across this video and we can talk about how to get you back into a company and working again and making money for your family, which is the first and most important thing about all this information that I'm sharing with you guys. And it's valuable content. And there's more of it available at axrecruiting.com, and we'll talk about that later and I'll direct you there. But I want you guys to take advantage of these tools and the information. So how do you put together a resume that's really gonna stand out and impress an employer? Well, what you gotta do first and foremost is get rid of all the lengthy stuff on your resume, okay? We don't need a life story. The hiring manager doesn't need a life story. They don't need to know that when you were 5 years old, you had a lemonade stand with your sister Rebecca, and you guys were charging a nickel per glass, and you ran it from, May until August. It's redundant, no one cares. That didn't build skill set. It's cute, don't get me wrong, but I see a lot of weird things on resumes that don't really need to be there. Employers don't want to see them. And I'll tell you, if they're getting an influx of resumes because they were posting on job boards, and employers, companies out there, I really don't recommend that, especially when we're gonna have a reduction in workforce and a lot of people looking for employment, because you're gonna get buried alive in resumes and you're gonna be dealing with burning cycles and hours paying someone to just sift through 90% garbage. No offense. But when you post an opportunity out there, unqualified and qualified people are gonna apply. People are gonna be desperate. It's gonna happen. My recommendation, don't do it. Leverage a recruiter like myself. Leverage Axe Recruiting. Leverage, if not me, if not my company, if not anybody else, go find some other recruiter. It's worth its weight in gold. I recommend that. Or, hope people want to work for you so bad that they're coming and knocking on your door, which is another great thing. And it might be the case. We'll see. So for those of you out there looking to get hired, it's really important that you lean out that resume, all right? No one wants to deal with 10 pagers when they've got stacks on their desk in an employer's market coming out of a recession and a pandemic. No one's gonna pay you any mind. You're going straight in the shredder, so forget about it. Lean it out. Get rid of the historic stuff. Keep it recent, keep it relevant, and keep it tight. 2 pages. is what I recommend for your resume. This goes without saying, but put all your contact information, your full name at the top of the resume, email, phone number, how to be reached, etc. And please, I've seen this way too many times, please use a professional email handle. If you don't have one, get one today. It can still be Gmail, it can still be Outlook, whatever. It just, don't use those high school emails. I don't even want to mention them. I've seen some stuff that, you're DQ'd, you're disqualified right out the gates for even that little oversight, all right? So get a professional email handle. Make sure it's at the top of your resume among the other contact information, how to get a hold of you right away. So the first thing you're gonna want after you tick that box, pretty simple, is your accomplishments, all right? So how are you standing out against the sea of sameness in a competitive job market? I honestly start with bulleted points on all your professional specific accomplishments, all right? Do you have publications in your space? Do you have awards? Do you have sales awards? Do you have leadership summits, certifications, qualifications that might, in addition to your work experience, make you stand out a little bit better, shine a little brighter in the eyes of the employer? That stuff's really important. Highlight it at the top. Because honestly, they're probably getting a lot of candidates if it's a very specific function or role, but the same educational background or maybe types of work experience and titles that you did. So what makes you so different? What makes you special? Well, highlight those accomplishments because that is going to be a key differentiator and a really big talking point during your interview, all right? So make sure they're listed, present at the top, not too wordy. The year, fiscal quarter that they may have happened in, the title of the award. That's it. You can go into more details with them in the interview. All right. Now, following your accomplishments on a professional level, you're going to want to list your professional duties and your past roles, right? So with your past roles, we're looking at your most recent line of work so we can reduce that resume to just 2 pages ideally. So how you're going to lean this out, you're actually going to have bulleted points of your quantifiable day-to-day tasks and expectations and metrics. So what I mean by that, if you're expected to make X amount of dials per day, you're gonna list that, or per month, or emails, or outreach, or complete X amount of documents, whatever the role is, okay? Deliveries, doesn't matter. I want you to quantify it. So that'll give the employer an idea of how much workload you are used to, and they can compare that to the type of workload they're gonna be expecting from you. And hopefully you exceed or surpass their expectations, or at least meet their expectations that way. It's important. They're gonna look at this stuff and measure you. Think about it. They're evaluating. They need quantifiable, measurable data. Give it to them up front, okay? After that, you can get into your tasks, but keep them bulleted and concise too, to the point. What does a typical day look like in your role? What are your expectations in helping the company achieve its goals, all right? And your function within that. Explain that a little bit in bulleted points and the day-to-day. Following going through your professional accomplishments and going through your professional work experience and quantifiable expectations and metrics within your historical roles, it's important that you guys will list your academics. Obviously, in a lot of cases, roles require a certain amount of certification, academic accomplishments, or degrees that will obviously make you qualified, at least from an entry level, for the role. So make sure that stuff's listed. If there's any academic accolades, accomplishments, extracurriculars in academia that you can list, it's a good time to bullet them. And following the same principle and philosophy above with your work experience, keep it bulleted, keep it concise, the year it happened, and expectations within, the specific duties or course that you were taking and course load that you were taking on in school, okay? So we tick those boxes. We're moving along nicely. Things are clean, concise. The hiring manager's getting all the information they want, all the heavy duty stuff without the fluff, okay? This is not a wordy resume whatsoever, but they're getting all the good data from you and what makes you stand out, all right? So now's the time to talk about maybe personal interests, hobbies, things like that towards the bottom. And any extracurriculars. Did you play on sports teams, house league even, whatever. This stuff's good because a lot of companies are looking for culture fits. So once they get through the qualifications and think, from a professional level, this person's really, really strong. What else is going to be attractive about this potential candidate? Oh, well, they love golf. Turns out the hiring manager loves golf. You had that listed as an interest and hobby. Maybe you're into politics, maybe you're into guitar. These are all interesting things about you that make you creative and unique that you can just bullet off. You don't have to go into any more detail than listing the bulleted point. I'd keep it down to 5 to, don't go to 10. We've all got core interests. Keep it to your top 5 interests that really make you and fulfill you as a person. And that hopefully will tie into the culture fit with the company. May resonate with some of the employees who are already there. Hiring manager's going to think that through, and you may be the man or woman for the job. You may be a great cultural fit for the company. All right. References, I would honestly leave that point out. I would just list references available upon request. That's really a conversation piece for as the interview begins to progress. I would recommend getting into that phase if you get that deep into the interview. I don't think it's necessary to have other people's contact information listed or anything like that at this point in time. So, to summarize, keep it down to 2 pages. Lose the life story. Nobody cares. They want to know the nuts and bolts of what makes you great at this particular role and why you're the man or woman for the job that they're trying to fill. Okay? So quantify your workload and daily expectations and tasks. All right? Explain the expectations of your historic roles with your previous companies and how you're helping accomplish the company's goals. All right? Bulleted. Academics, same thing. All right? Accomplishments, extracurriculars in academia, volunteer work, whatever, all that stuff's bulleted. Follow the same principles above in your work history and professional history. All right? And then you're going to get into hobbies, interests, and any extracurriculars that make you uniquely you. That is a clean, concise resume. That is easily 2 pages long. It's enough to get them interested in you and want to have an additional conversation and follow up. And the resume should be a conversation piece. It's a quick highlight reel snapshot. You've quantified things. You've let them know that you've gotten X, Y, and Z done. You've hit quotas. You've done whatever it takes. Let's have a conversation about it and win that interview. All right? So you put this together with the principles that we talked about last week on actually how to get the job and how to interview with your pre-planning, actually interviewing, asking great questions, following up, and you should be in a really good, strong position to maximize your opportunity in a competitive marketplace coming out of quarantine and this post-pandemic world we're living in with leaner workforces, social distancing. You guys need to be equipped to win these interviews. You can't afford to have 3 interviews lined up and you screw up 2 because of your resume or how you interviewed. You can't afford that. Nobody can. So I hope these tips were helpful. If you're looking for more information, our blog has a ton of information out there for you guys on how to accomplish this stuff. If you want to recap, you can go to axrecruiting.com/blog and you can dig into all sorts of materials that I've personally written or the team's written that's available as resources to help you guys get back to work as soon as possible and start taking care of your families and taking care of yourselves and getting your livelihoods back and taking control of your destiny. I want you guys to be equipped as well as possible to do so. I hope the information I'm providing you find valuable. If you do, like and subscribe, because I'm gonna help you guys out throughout this as we do come out of quarantine. I wanna hear feedback, success stories from some of these principles that I'm sharing with you. And if anyone needs help in reviewing resumes, I'm open to even taking a look at resumes at this time. If hiring managers need some help, if candidates need some help, just reach out to me. I'm available. So you can reach me at nathan@axsalesrecruiting.com, and you can follow me on Instagram at n8.where. Thanks.